Hello guys, Nathanias here. Coming up to do an official write-up, I guess I would say, on the 1-Rex expand into 4-port Banshee all-in and a half, as I like to call it. I recently did this build, and pretty much it was just a game on the Korean ladder, and this Zerg player, not this game, but a Zerg player kind of like just harassed me with like 2 drones really early, and I just got really mad. I said, you know what, I just want to do the most abusive build ever, and then a lot of people started asking me about it. It wasn't really something that I normally do. It wasn't something I was really planning on having happen, but it's a pretty crazy build. I'm just going to start it off. We're just going to go through this. You're going to open with a standard 1-Rax expand. One of the things I love about this build is that you can't scout it at the beginning of the game. It's not like at the beginning of the game you can be like, oh, well, I need to do this because he's doing this. A couple things to note. This build is very flimsy, so you will only ever see me doing this build if I scout that my opponent is playing very greedy, opens no gas. You have very low unit count when you do this build, but continuing on. I like to put my bunker here on this map. You know, you just play very standard double gas after your expansion. The only difference here is that we're going to take our gas once, basically when we start our orbital. At the same time we start our orbital, we take our gas at the natural. In this game, I'm actually going to start my factory late, but I mean, in terms of where you're limited with gas consumption, it's difficult to get your start ports down earlier than 6:30 anyway. So boom, boom, boom. Starports are going to drop. This gives you that little bit of oomph that you need. I guess this could have timed out a little bit better, but all in all, this isn't the worst run of the build. And yeah, as we can see, the Zerg player all he knows is that I fast expanded, and then I've got a second and fourth gas here. For all he knows, I'm just going for mech, or I'm going, fast upgrades. It's not common to see this double gas, but what is a Zerg going to think when they see that? So he's going to come up here, he's going to try to poke some SCVs, delay my gas a little bit, but he's not getting in my base, right? Starports are complete. Build tech labs on all of them. Now, I mean, technically, you could try to build them with the barracks, the factory. This build isn't perfectly optimized yet. I've just been kind of doing it as a big FU to Zergs that go for fast 3 base off of no gas, right? So he gets his third and everything, and now he's got his gas going. This player actually gets their gas before the third, so they play a little bit more survivable. Like, they're less likely to die to this, you would think, right? So here we go. You just start making Banshees, and you've got 4 Banshees. Now, with 4 gas, that's 400. You get 100 gas per minute, so that's 400 gas per minute off of 4 geysers, right? It takes 1 minute to make a Banshee. That's 100 gas. So the math is very simple for building Banshees. It's an incredibly abusive build, and this guy actually doesn't have the towers. He has the minimum amount of scouting. And important to note, we just rally all of our other Banshees up. And like I said, you're going to be very weak to all-ins that hit before the 9-minute mark, which is when the Banshees will come out. Mostly because you're basically limiting yourself to a bunker of Marines in order to get the economy that you need to support 4 ports, as well as building the ports. We're going to step in, and the first thing we're going to notice, Banshees 2-shot queens, right? So when you have 4 Banshees, 2 volleys, kill a queen. So you pick out, the first goal is you step in, kill a queen immediately, right? We take out all his queens, so he can't build, even if he builds more queens, he's not going to have enough to overpower us. Has this lair, he's getting his, 1-1, he's starting his pathogen gland, and he's going to start some infestors. We target down the pool, now we're going to take out the lair. Now, this is basically the killing blow is once the second wave comes in at around 10 minutes. The second wave of Banshees is your killing blow for this build, because you can now out-DPS literally anything on the ground. So we take this out. Oh, we've got a spore crawler. Well, let's see how many volleys it. Ooh, wow, that was dead really quickly. 8 Banshees are able to just do a stupid amount of DPS. Not to mention we've got another 4 on the way. And then we just pick off this layer, and then basically just gonna dance around at this point. We pick off another hatchery. We're gonna pick off these spore crawlers because we just do sick DPS. Sick DPS to everything. Even if we lose Banshees, it doesn't matter. So much DPS. I will attack into spore crawlers. I'm not even mad. So we're going to lose a couple. It happens. But we have 4 coming in with every production wave. Just a lot of Banshees coming in. My opponent in this game did do a Ling counterattack. But all you really have to do is just turtle the crap out of everything and you're pretty much set. As we can see, his number of spore crawlers doesn't really matter. Because when you tighten your Banshees up into a nice clump, okay, you got a fungal. You don't have much else. When you tighten your Banshees up into a nice clump like this, these spores can't attack. It's just the 1 spore, and then you can just out-DPS that, right? then we don't really care about the rest of these. And at this point, we just kill them. And then, yeah, there's nothing else our opponent can do but really just rage quit. Drop the Miner Mules and just pick everything else off. And then a little bit of BM. And yeah, just because some people have been asking about the build, if your opponent goes for Mutalisks, as long as you're able to do economic damage before the Mutalisks come out, or you can salvage all your Banshees, you can just set all these ports to just start massing up a bunch of Vikings. They actually trade fairly effectively against Mutalisks once you have them, if you have them in even numbers. And they aren't going to be able to get even numbers of Mutalisks very easily if you're able to at least pick off one of their bases. Usually the natural or the main. I like to go for the main just because that's usually their lair in case they try to get any other kind of tech up, really. But yeah, that is the TvZ 1-rack expand into 4-port Banshee, all in and a half, I guess. If you like this video, please subscribe and let me know what you think in the comment box. And by no means is this a good build. It's just really good if you scout your Zerg opponent playing super greedy. Nathanias, peace.